Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. Today we're going to be learning all about chain piecing and how you can use it to enhance your quilting. So if you want to learn 3 ways to use chain piecing in your quilting, please stay tuned. Chain piecing is a very popular technique in quilting. It is a great way to increase the speed of your quilting and decrease the use of thread. There's not as much wasted thread when you use chain piecing. So today I'm just going to share 3 quick ways that I use chain piecing when I'm quilting. So let's take a look at the sewing machine. So this is one of the first ways that you can use chain piecing. This is if you want to make many of the same block or the same unit. All I did was I just started sewing one block, and then instead of cutting the thread in between, I just added another block. So it makes this long chain. I'm going to show you how that's done. These are leftover half square triangle units from my Will's quilt, and so I'm going to sew them together to make a project that I'm still deciding. And so all I'm doing is just stitching these through together, and then right before I get to the end of one piece, add another piece in. And since these are so small and on the bias, then I do have to lift my needle, but I just don't cut the thread in between. And so if you, depending on what kind of block you're making, if you're making a simple block that only needs 1 stitch, or if you're doing long strips of piecing, you can create a chain like this, and all you have to do is cut it apart, and you see that there's just a tiny bit of thread in between each piece. So let me show you the next way that you can use chain piecing is as leaders and enders. So this piece was from my last little chain that I did, and I'm just going to go start working on another part of a block. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stitch this part, and then I'm going to take another half square triangle and pop it in there as I finish. What that does is it allows the needle, it allows the presser foot to stay up just a little bit, and so you don't have to worry as much about the needle eating your fabric. So I've already stopped the last stitch, and I'm going to wait and cut the thread after I do this next one. And so for a block like this that has lots of different little parts, what I can do is I can use leaders and enders and also my chain piecing to put a little piece in between. And so I'm just cutting this thread here, but this is already done. This part's already been stitched, and then I can go to the next part of my block, which is the same block. I'm just using the little leaders and enders to keep that presser foot up just a little bit to make my stitching easier. So this works well if you have a block like this that has a lot of moving parts that need to be taken care of, but also if you have these little leftover pieces that are for another project. And so since I am working on another project with these half square triangles, this makes perfect sense to do it this way. So there's one other way that we can use chain piecing, and I'll show you that in just a second. The last way that I want to show you about chain piecing is where you use chain piecing to create 2 blocks at a time. So I have one block here, and this is the one I already started. What I'm going to do is complete my next block, or put my next little part on, and you can see I already have my leader / ender from the last time. And I'm going to start stitching, but instead of adding an ender piece, I'm just going to start working on another block. So this is a very similar, another pinwheel block, but I'm just going to start adding the the squares for the snowballs, I'm going to start adding this one next. And so what I'll be basically doing is making 2 blocks at one time, and each stitch serves as the leader ender for the other block. And so with this one, I'll just cut, and then I'll just put it stitch through the next one. Let me cut this one off too. And by doing this, of course I make 2 blocks at one time, but I'm also in a way saving some time and saving some thread because I'm not cutting after each stitch. And I'm making the blocks, hopefully it feels twice as fast because I'm doing 2 in the time that it might take to do one. Watching my video on chain piecing. I hope that you take these techniques and use them when you are making your own quilts. If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!